guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Blessing Tippy. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're an old member or English is running away.
Why are you running? What?
Anyway, we say English came by boat, so some of it, just fell out of the boat when it was coming to Africa. But that's besides the point. Today I'm going to be doing a story time about my first time coming to the UK by myself. Yes, by myself. So basically I'm just gonna get right into it so that we don't make this video too long, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so basically when I finished my upper six, I was waiting for my results, and we all know, I knew I wanted to go to either Australia, UK. Nah, I didn't consider Canada at the time. I was just like, nope, it's too cold for me. I don't like the cold. I know UK is cold, but I was just researching a bit about it, and there's not a lot of snow here, so I'm like, yeah, definitely the UK or Australia. So when my results came out, unfortunately I didn't get the grades that were required for me to go directly into university. So because of that, I had to go through foundation. For medical engineering, their requirements were saying they needed ABB, and I was far from that. So yeah, results come out. My parents sit down with me. Obviously my mom is like, okay, so what's the plan? Because when results came out, my dad was at work, so I was with my mom, and I went straight to my mom and I told her, oh mom, this is what I got. And my mom was like, oh, okay, so what's the plan? Are you going back to school or what? Because she knew I had already expressed how much I really wanted to do this degree. So she's like, because you haven't met the required grades, are you going back to school to redo your A-levels, or what options do you have, basically? And at that time I was just going back to school. My mom had her mind made up that I'm going back to school, I'm going to redo my A-levels. And I was 18, guys. Growing up, I was I don't want to say I had pride, but it's one of those things. I felt like, okay, I'm 18 already. If I go back to school, I'm gonna be 20 by the time I finish. Do a 3-4 year degree, I'm gonna be 24 by the time I'm done with my undergrad. I have no work experience, nothing.
Dang!
And I'm someone that plans my life. I'm that type of girl that has a 5-year plan, whatever it's called. But yeah, I know where I want to see, where I see myself in 5 years. English today is really running away from me, huh? So yeah, that happened, and my mom was basically like, oh, okay, so you're gonna go to Riverton. So my younger sister, my brother, the one immediately after me, they both went to Riverton. It's a really good school, very strict. I went to girls' college, and my mom was like, well, because obviously you didn't get the grades you want, we can't take you back to girls' college. Firstly, thank you very much, mom, for considering the fact that I would be learning with people that were 2 years younger than me. But I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. So I actually quickly messaged one of my friends who was actually in the UK at the time. Her name is Simbiso. So I basically messaged her. I'm like, Simbi, how did you what was your application procedure like? Because she didn't need her A-levels to come to the UK. I think she left before we even wrote A-levels. So I knew she had left before we wrote A-levels. So I knew obviously whatever she did, she didn't require the A-levels. So she basically told me, oh yeah, I use this agency, this lady, her name is Layla, amazing lady. So I messaged her, I emailed her actually, and she was so swift reply in terms of her replies. She's like, oh hi, what's going on? And then I told her, I'm like, oh look, I wanted to do medical engineering, but these are my grades and these are their requirements at Swansea University, blah blah blah. And she's like, oh no, don't worry about it, send me your O-level certificate. So I sent her my O-level certificate. She's like, oh yeah, these are really good grades, you can go through foundation. And I'm like, oh okay, great, what's the procedure? She's like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about it, you can start in September. I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to start in September, because if I start in September, doing my foundation in September would mean I'm a year behind the people that I went to school with, because everybody else would be starting their first year in September. So I'm like, is there a way that I can do my foundation now and start my first year in September? And she's like, yeah, definitely there's a way, but the thing is, obviously because our results come mid-January, everybody else had already gotten their place for their foundation prior to January. So basically by December, actually the semester here in the UK started in September, but for some weird reason foundation courses usually take people in January. So because this was already mid-January, she's like, oh, we're already behind time, but I'll put you through a fast track because your grades are good, so it's going to be a swift my O-level grades, by the way, they were not great at all, but yeah, they were good enough for me to come to foundation. So she's like, yeah, we can put you through like fast track for foundation. So I'm like, okay, that's great. I told my dad came back, and well, this happened within a day, guys. Like, I get my results, my mom is like, you're going back to school because you want to do medical engineering, you don't have the grades, so definitely you're going back to school. And I'm like, sorry, what? Say what? Me? Go back where? No. And at the time I was like, you know, like I feel like I'm very grateful for my mom doing that, because if she had been a bit reluctant with me, if we were both reluctant in terms of what am I going to do, or if she hadn't pushed me by saying you're going to repeat 2 years of your life, like redo 2 years of your life as if they never happened, I would have never like been on top of the game. So when my dad came back, I told him, oh, these are my results. Like, oh yeah, you didn't meet up your grades. Like, he surprisingly wasn't disappointed. Well, I'm not shocked. I've always been an average student. Yeah, sad story. But anyway, we move. So he's like, you know, it happens, like you did your best, that's fine. So what are you going to do? Are you going to return? I'm like, so these guys had already discussed this, hadn't they? And then I'm like, no, I've spoken to Layla. So my dad is like, Layla? Who's Layla? And then I'm like, I'm going to university. And then he's like, but did you change your mind on the degree you wanted to go study? I'm like, no, I'm still going to study the same degree. So he's like, oh, okay, so what's the plan? And then I basically told him I'm going to do a bridging course. And then he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. If that's what you really want, and that's like, you know, it's the degree you want to do. I don't want you to go there and do something that you don't want to do. I want you to do something you're passionate about. And I'm like, yes, definitely, this is what I want to do. I want to go through the bridging course. And then my mom, I told her as well, like, well, I told both my parents at the same time. And my mom is like, initially my mom was like, no, go back to school. And I'm like, Mom, when I finish, I'll be 20. And then going first year, and then like it's 3 or 4 years depending on where I end up. So she's like, oh, okay, whatever. My mom ended up agreeing. My dad was okay, he was like on board from the get-go. My mom is the one that was a bit reluctant, because I think it's also that thing like girl child, you know, going by yourself. So I really feel like my mom didn't want to let go of me, but she had to. So yeah, that happened. And then like my application procedure was very swift, guys. Like, I'm very grateful. I want to thank God for that. I didn't have any complications. Like, when people say like they had complications, and considering how last minute it was, I'm so grateful to my parents, because if my parents were not organized people, I wouldn't have been able to take that opportunity. Because like I said, they had in their minds, they were prepared that I'll be going to university in September, but obviously because I didn't perform well enough, I had to come to university in January. And again, that's another reason why I came by myself. So what happened is, obviously I started applying, everything happened within like, I think 2-3 weeks my visa was already back, and I flew into the UK the first week of February, which just happened to be like, I think I flew in on the 4th or something like that, and the Saturday of that 4th, I think it was my birthday, so I was turning 19. So when I flew in, I was actually 18. And I think, yeah, by then you're considered an adult, not like, you know. So my journey itself, it was really swift, because I flew from Gaborone straight into OR Tambo, and then from OR Tambo straight to Heathrow. And that was like really swift. Everything was nice, whatever, like it was really cool. And then when I got to Heathrow, my Layla, the lady that helped me apply for uni, she basically arranged for transport to pick me up from the airport straight to Swansea. So yeah, I basically got like a taxi from Heathrow to Swansea. Yes, I got a taxi, guys. No, but it's one of those taxis that like arranged by schools, like for new people. So it wasn't like, yeah, anything major. So yeah, I got into a cab, came all the way from Heathrow to Swansea, and it was like my journey, honestly speaking, considering it was my first time in the UK by myself. It wasn't anything like horrid or like scary or anything like that, nah. So yeah, I got to Swansea, and then he just dropped me outside like a letting agency. So I had, because obviously everybody else had come in September, school accommodation was already fully booked, so I had to like move into like a shared house. So, yeah, that was an experience, and I love the people that I shared a home with. They were really, really lovely. They were both third years, and they really treated me well. Like, guys, I'm telling you, like, my journey or my experience coming to the UK, I really feel like this is where God wanted me to be, because everything was so smooth and everything was swift and everything just happened according to his plan. That's why, like, I feel like even though my A-levels went great, God had a reason for that. He wanted me to meet certain people and he wanted certain things to happen in my life, and it just happened according to his plan. I got to the UK, and then he left me, like, the taxi guy took me out of the cab, well, dropped me off, like, with my bag and everything outside the letting agency. So I go to the letting agency, I'm like, hi, and the guy just like, oh yeah, your house is like around the corner or like 2 blocks down. I'm like, I've never been here, I don't know anything. Guys, I was so naive to the point that I didn't know what Google Maps was. So I start walking, like, and I was walking. If you're in Swansea, I used to live in Uplands. So if you guys know, I actually forgot, Fresh Lettings. So yeah, that's where I was. So there's like KFC around that area, and like I was just fresh out of Zimbabwe, guys. Think about that. Fresh out of Zimbabwe. I was naive in the sense that I didn't even know how to use Google Maps. Nothing. I was naive to that extent. So I get out with my bags. I think I had like 2 bags, heavy bags, because I'm coming from Zimbabwe. I've got like, I just don't know. I'm coming from home. So you guys know how we pack when we're coming from home. So yeah, my bags are pretty heavy. So I get there, and like I'm just walking around asking people. So this guy who has a car, he comes out, he's like, wait, no, I actually knocked on his house because I was going like house by house. I'm like, sorry, do you know where this street is? And the first house I went to, there was no one. The next house, there was this guy. And then he's like, oh, hi. I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm looking for this house. He's like, oh, okay, it's fine, I'll drop you off. And I'm like, well, yeah, sorry, say what? Just direct me to the house. He's like, no, don't worry, it's not a struggle. Like, the house is opposite my house, and I see that you've got like really heavy bags. Don't worry about it, I'll help you with your bags. So I'm like, and at that time I'm like, you know what, God, me, I don't know where I'm going, so I'm just going to get into this stranger's car. If he steals me, I don't know, that it's your plan. So yeah, I got into this man's car. He drops me off right outside my house. He carries my bags into my room, and when I got there, that's where there's these amazing housemates. They welcome me with open arms, and I had one girl and one guy as housemates, and the guy had a car, like, so, and we both were in Swansea University. So sometimes, like, when I had lectures and he had lectures, he'd be like, oh yeah, don't worry, because I used to walk from where I lived. It was like a 15-minute walk, so nothing major. So he would be like, no, don't worry, jump into my car, let's go to school together, whatever. And like, amazing people. And the girl, guys, not to say that I didn't know how to cook when I moved here, but I didn't know how to cook. So the girl, like, usually just made dinner for both of us. She'd just be like, okay, just buy groceries and then I'll cook for us. And like, it was amazing, because it's not like she would say I should buy groceries, but she's not buying groceries. She bought groceries of her own. She would be like, buy things that you enjoy, so that like I'll include them in the menu that I'm cooking. And like, we just used to have like these cookouts together, as if it was like they were my family, basically. I met an amazing friend, one of my best friends to this day, Modesta Bahati, and that's only because I went through foundation. If I hadn't gone through foundation, I wouldn't have met that girl, one of my best friends. Like, in life, literally, you know that thing that they say, like, sometimes your friends become your sisters? Yeah, definitely, she's one of the few people I would consider my sisters. But yeah, that's the story of me coming to the United Kingdom for the first time by myself. Yeah, and then I just want to advise some people out there that didn't get the results they wanted, or didn't get into the courses that they wanted. Sometimes God has a better plan for you. I know, like, I've been there where I was asking God, like, God, but why didn't I get the result? Right now all my friends, like, are chilling at home waiting for September. I'm here, like, having to work so that I can get into this degree and like prove myself and prove to my parents, prove to my relatives, prove to everyone that this is what I want to do and I'm capable of doing it. And now I'm in my 3rd year of medical engineering. No one cares how you started. Everyone cares how you finish. So if you guys are going through this, or if you guys have failed your exams or didn't perform to the standard that you expected you'd perform, I just want to encourage someone out there, like, don't worry about it, don't beat yourself up. Where once you get to the university, just make sure you work hard. Like, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, you just have to forget about the past, leave the past in the past, let it motivate you to get to where you want to go. That's every time I look back, it's always I'm looking back to tell myself, this is where you came from. You came from a girl who didn't have the requirements to do this engineering degree, and now you're one of the top students in your course. Like, it's one of those things, guys. Don't allow your failures to determine who you are in the future. Yeah, this is not an inspirational video. Let's just end there. But yeah, I just wanted to encourage someone, because I do know A-level results came out not anytime soon, but like, you guys are still applying for places and everything. So if you don't get the degree you want, or you don't get into the university you want, you get the degree but not the university, it doesn't matter. God has a plan for you, and sometimes God's plan is always the best. Happy Easter, guys. Happy Easter Monday. This should be going up Saturday. Today is actually Friday, Easter Friday. So happy Easter Friday, everybody. I hope you guys are praying and staying indoors. Wash your hands, hand sanitize, and don't go out unless it's really necessary. I want to start doing shout outs. So if you feel like you want to shout out, all you have to do is get 5 people to subscribe, because our goal is to get to 500 subscribers by mid-July. So let's get to 500 subscribers. All you have to do for me to give you a shout out, be it for your business, be it for your YouTube channel, your Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want me to shout you out in, just get 5 people to subscribe. Make sure they subscribe before you comment done. I'll trust you guys that you've actually done it. And if you want to do that, like if you get 5 people to subscribe to my channel and watch my videos, then just comment it in the comment section, done. And whatever name you want me to shout out, you can just write like company, and then so that I'll, like, when I shout out, I'll be like, oh, I'm shouting out this company, or I'm shouting out this. I hope you guys enjoy. Sorry this video was a bit long, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys again soon. Bye.